Alright, welcome to AskTetsu, where we talk about raising global kids by raising them to be multilingual, multicultural, and multi-talented. Now today, I'm bringing you this video from Cholula, Mexico. I'm at the annual PolyglotConference, where lots and lots of language experts, or language aficionados, people who are really passionate about languages, so the so-called polyglots. They gather here once a year and we have a conference here. So, today I want to ask these polyglots about raising multilingual kids. So, all of them are language experts, although some of them have kids, some of them don't have kids. They're all language experts and we want to ask them this key question. What is the most important ingredient in raising multilingual kids? Let's go talk to them.
I think the key ingredient is making the language part of their life, the same way as their first language is just something that happens naturally to them, it's part of their environment. Make the other languages also part of their environment. It's not something that they have to sit down and study every day. It's not something that you're putting pressure on your kid to learn. It's just something that naturally is part of their life. It happens because they use it in school, they use it at home, they use it in something that they're doing anyway.
Consistency, not naming the languages when the children are small, calling them mummy's language, daddy's language, grandma's language, grandpa's language, whatever type of language you want, so that they find it harder to reject the person, because it's a lot easier to reject German, French, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, because that doesn't mean anything to the child.
You got to find something that they are interested in and passionate in, and turn the language into that. When I was teaching kids English who were Spanish natives, I discovered they loved SpongeBob SquarePants. So I made my lesson about SpongeBob SquarePants. Prepositions, he's in the pineapple house. Another thing is video games, is I've tried to encourage them to change the language of the video games. So it's like things that they're going to do anyway, but they'll do it through the language they're learning.
Is to make it fun. I wanted to do a ski season in France. I took my kids out of school, we went to France, and we went to the mountains, and I had to do something with the kids. So I put them into French school in the mountains. They knew no French whatsoever. First day, my wife thought they were going to come home crying. Double French grammar in French. They came home laughing, and they loved every minute of it. They had 4 months of skiing. Result, they're not fluent, you need longer than that. But when Henry the Eldest speaks French, they all understand him and they all talk back to him in French. That's what you want.
I was a child in a bilingual family, and one thing that's very important is not to force the children, obviously. When you're a kid, you want to have fun, and you have to make it natural and to make it fun. For me, it wasn't even a question of having fun or not. My mother was speaking to me in Japanese, my father was speaking to me in French, so the more natural, the better, I think.
Yeah, so absolutely the most important thing, if you are, the target language does not match the surrounding language, so you're going to use the target language first. Concentrate on the target language because there's no worry that the child will not learn the local language since there's enough exposure outside of the home.
The single most important component when it comes to raising multilingual children is consistency. Make sure you're consistent in your effort and everything else will follow. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so the key thing in raising multilingual kids, according to me, is allowing them to listen a lot to other people. Maybe not force them to speak right away, but to really let them listen, and also have different people speak different languages. You often connect a language to a person, which I even notice right now with some languages I've learned at a later age. I can't speak it to my mom sometimes because it's very hard, because I'm so used to speaking my mother tongue with her. So yeah, these are my tips.
I think the key ingredient to raising multilingual children, as I've been raised bilingual, is discipline. You need to speak to your children in the language that you're supposed to speak with them and never change, never switch to another language. And even if they start replying in the language of the country, for instance, you have to continue doing it, maybe even pretending that you don't understand. I've been doing that. I've been rebelling against my parents, started speaking German, but they kept at it with Russian. And at some point I stopped, and I still speak Russian to this day with my parents, and I'm really happy that they gave me this opportunity.
I think in my own experience, when I asked my father why he didn't teach me to speak Spanish, which is his native language, he told me that he didn't want to have another thing to fight about. He didn't want to fight about how much candy I could eat and when I had to go to bed. He didn't want to also have to fight about if I was going to speak Spanish or not. So I think the key ingredient is really just modifying your strategy to your own family situation and what your own kids want. And then probably just building an environment where they feel motivated. So an environment where they feel like they know why they want to learn this language. So as long as they're surrounded by reasons to learn that language, I think that they'll stay motivated and have success.
So to raise multilingual kids, you have to provide them an international environment as much as possible and show them that there are different cultures around the world. Maybe if you can travel with them also. And then they will get interested in knowing those other cultures, and in the future they will try to learn languages.
So I was born in Brazil, but I grew up in the States, and when I was 5 years old, I was put into a school system speaking English. So number one way is obviously picking a school that allows them to exercise a new language, but then also being introduced to people in their lives, whether that's friends of yours or giving them interesting shows. My niece loves a Russian YouTube channel, and so she's speaking Russian. There's no reason why she should be speaking Russian, but we're living in a world where you have access to so many great pieces of content in different languages. So getting your children introduced to that is already a really good step, but letting them play and letting them choose, what makes them happy, and then it's not so much work.
Okay, so how did you like what all the polyglots had to say about raising multilingual kids? For me, I think 3 keywords have stuck with me. One is environment. The second is consistency. And the third, of course, is fun. Okay, so you gotta have lots of fun for the kids in order for them to really want to learn the new languages. Okay, but speaking of fun, let me leave you with this short montage of the fun that I had at the Polyglot Conference and in Mexico in general. And I'll see you in the next video.